Welcome to week 9, day 3 of our 9 lives, taking a look at the ninth life aspiration area, your space. We are breaking space down into 3 different categories within this life aspiration area. Number 1, your workspace, which we talked about yesterday. Number 2, your living space, which we're going to talk about today. And number 3, your headspace, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. So when it comes to your living space, this is, of course, in essence of the word living space, the place that you live. It could be a home, it could be an apartment, it could be a shared space. You might have lots of room, you might have a little bit of room, but oftentimes there's the bedroom, there's the bathroom, there's the kitchen, living room, maybe any storage areas, that sort of thing. Obviously, the bigger the space is, the more there is to consider. The smaller the space is, the less there is to consider. But these are still things you want to take into consideration no matter what. Now, as we begin, we want to take a look or think about our space, or be with our space and take a look at how the space makes us feel. It isn't always about how it looks, it is always about how it feels. And if you were to, either close your eyes or look across the room if you're sitting in your space, to take a look at, to be able to take a look at how it feels. Does it feel cluttered, or does it feel calm and relaxing? Despite anything that's going on in your life outside of the physical aspects of your space, how does it feel? And just sort of be with that. And then if you're like, hey, I love my space, it feels amazing, that's awesome, I love that. If you look around your space and you're like, it doesn't feel great, or doesn't look great, or it's cluttered, then stay tuned, because we're going to talk about some of these things. So we're going to talk about 3 different things when it comes to your living space. And because there are so many spaces to take into consideration, these are going to be things that you can apply to any of your spaces. any of your spaces. So the first thing is taking a look at clutter. So let's talk about clutter for a second. Most people think that clutter is the bad things. It's things they don't want, don't need, don't use, collecting in their space. And so it's causing clutter, things that they're not able to make decisions about. And that's true. However, I would like to invite you to think about clutter another way, and to think about clutter as good things. There might be things collecting in your space that you love, that you want, that you need. You just don't love where they're collecting. Though that can still be clutter. And so to be able to take a look around your space and identify for yourself, what is it that's cluttering up your space? Is it stuff that you want and stuff that you need? Or is it stuff that you don't want and stuff that you don't need? Because the things that you do want, we're going to want to find a home for those, or create a home for those. The things that you don't want, we're going to want to make those tough decisions about what the next phase of that thing's life is going to be. But the invitation here is just to be with clutter and what clutter is for you in your particular space, if it even applies. The second thing we want to take a look at is the practical use of the space. So taking a look at the aesthetics, the furniture, the decorative accessories. Is it practical? Does it have function? Does it have flow? Does it feel good? Or how does it feel? And does it have form? What's the form or function of the piece? So these are the things that we want to take a look at, because oftentimes if someone has a space that's not set up for its practical use, for how that person uses the space, it can feel cluttered, or it can feel like something is off. So, an example of that would be if you have a formal white living room, yet you also have children and pets and people trafficking in and out of that space on a regular basis. White may not be the most practical choice because of how you use the space, the way in which the space is being accessed, so to speak. And so this could be true of any of the spaces that you have. What is the practical use for the space? And what is the practical use now versus what it may be in the future? As we grow and change, our space often grows and changes with us. And so just be able to take a look at that. And the placement of furniture, the decorative accessories, and the origin of them is also important. You'd be surprised how many people I have conversations with where we talk about some of the pieces and they're telling me where it came from or how they feel about it. And then like, maybe I need to take that piece out of my space. And it's like, sure, try it. See what happens. And then they take it out and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how different it feels to not have that piece here. I did not know that it was affecting me that way. So origin of pieces is important as well. And then the third thing that you want to take into consideration is the difference between someone who's organized and somebody who wants to be organized. Now, I mean this with love and respect. There is a difference between someone who is organized and somebody who wants to be organized, because an organized person can typically reclaim their space much quicker. And so, that's really what it boils down to, is have homes been created for the things that you want to keep, so that when they come out of their home, they can quickly and easily be put back in their home. Now, I would be lying if I said that my home is always put together and always top notch all of the time. It's not practical, and it's also not it's just not realistic. And so that's the other thing, is like being able to be at peace with your space despite the chaos and clutter that may be accumulating. Like, my house is cluttered right now. It's actually driving me crazy because I just want to go put stuff away. Like I said, it's not practical or realistic for it to be perfect all of the time. So perfection is not what we're going for. We're going for being able to quickly reclaim your space. And actually, a funny story really quickly, or a funny use of the word chaos as an acronym stands for can't have anyone over syndrome. So if your space is full of chaos and you feel like you can't have anyone over and you have to hide behind your closed doors, your living space may be an area within your life that needs attention, wants nourishing, or something to shift. And so, I hope this information is helpful. Again, breaking it down into manageable bite-sized pieces, because I could talk about it for days. I could do segments on this by itself, one for each room and all that, all that kind of stuff. So, again, these are just some simple things that you can take a look at within your space to see if this is an area within your life that needs nourishing or wants attention. So, again, I hope the information was helpful. I hope you will join me tomorrow as we talk about our headspace, and be sure to stay tuned for so much more. We'll see you in the next video.